Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bitter Rivals podcast. This is episode 108. Is that what you just said?
Nine.
109 of the
109.
Bitter Rivals podcast. It's been a couple weeks since we talked to you last. Gitano had a nice little extravaganza to Montreal, watched a couple Habs games, so we'll get his take on that later in the show. But let's get this started, as always, with a little bit of Leafs chatter, because the Leafs here... Oh, by the way, my name is Avery, and this is Gitano, if you weren't talking. I forgot to introduce us. And this show is powered by 91. And back to the Leafs. And honestly, fuck the Leafs. It's back to William Nylander. This guy is on on another planet right now. He cannot be stopped, and he's doing it in just big pressure situations. Like, this guy goes to his hometown, plays in front of most of his family for the first time in person, puts up 3 points one game, and then scores the overtime winner and 2 points in the second game. And probably should have been named player of the game for both games, but they can't give him 2 rollies because he's already got 10 back at home, right? So,
yeah. No, I missed the first game. I was so confused when they gave him third star. I was like, what do you mean? And then the commentator made the joke that he could have a Rolex on each hand. I was like, oh, okay.
So the NHLPA and the NHL teamed up to give these guys Rolexes for their player of the game trophies in this global series, which was fantastic, by the way. I thought the whole thing was very well done. Nylander is a complete rock star in that country. I think he might be the most famous Swedish person at this point. Now.
Off the top of my head, maybe Zlatan, but even then,
he's older now, Zlatan. I know where you're coming from.
But I think he's still probably at that level. I think they're probably like a similar level of rock star in Sweden.
Well, this guy had Swedes lined up around multiple city blocks, thousands of them, just to get a glimpse at this guy. He is a rock star in that country, and he is a rock star on the ice right now. Every goal he scores, every point he gets, his AAV goes up by another $100,000. And it's getting to a point where it's this isn't funny anymore. Sign this guy to a contract. Before this gets out of hand, because he's playing himself into a record-setting deal right now, the way that he is playing. And we talked about this briefly before the show. I wanted to save most of this debate for the show. To me, he's the best player in the world right now. McDavid's in a slump. He does not look like McDavid. The quickness of the hands at high speeds just isn't happening right now. And I've said 1,000 times that's what makes McDavid. And he's just not doing it. And you do have an argument with those 3 guys out in Vancouver. Well, for me, you have an argument for 2 of them. To me, JT Miller's just in the right place at the right time right now. Elias Pettersson's been fantastic. And Quinn Hughes is... quite obviously,
he's for 140 points.
He's the best defenseman in the world right now. He's tied for the league lead in points still. Is that correct?
I can double check. I'm pretty sure as of recording, yes. But I'm double checking right now. So him and Pettersson and Miller are all sitting on 28 points.
Okay. Last I checked, they were all tied at 26. So they're continuing their dominance. Although Vancouver as a team has struggled a little bit as of late since they lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs a week ago yesterday. Yeah. So they've kind of hit a little bump in the road. Demko's still been good. Those 3 have obviously been very good. They're tied for the league lead in points. But they're leaving a lot to be desired as a team.
Yeah, like I said to you, though, going back to Willy Nylander being best player in the world, it was hard to disagree. I didn't want to immediately agree, but I found it very hard to disagree.
It's just the moments that he's such a finisher. He plays his best in the toughest of moments. And this goes back years. This goes back multiple playoffs now. When the time comes and somebody needs to step up, he is always the one that steps up, man. To me, it's become extremely clear that as of right now, he definitely deserves more money than Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner does not look like he has for his entire career to this point, to be honest with you. He's looked so dangerous. And he seems to be he's not looking before he makes a pass. He seems to be giving the puck away like crazy and in really, really crucial moments. And it's a really bad look for him especially because Nylander's been so good.
Yeah.
He's really played himself ahead of Marner in the depth chart, in my opinion. Like, this guy is just on a ridiculous heater. And I'm not saying that you should move the line that he plays with. Like, I'm not saying he should move on to the first line. What I'm saying is he's just been better than Mitch Marner, right? Like, a lot better. This guy's got, I believe now it's a 17-game streak to start the season. Point streak, that is. That is a Toronto Maple Leaf record. Probably won't ever hit the NHL record, which is 52, set by Wayne Gretzky in 1984, 1985.
I mean,
but
that's it. Like that's the level. That's like the standard that he's playing at. Is that's like that comparison's not that it's not ridiculous, but it's not totally batshit insane.
Yeah, and like I already said, for him to be able to deal with the pressure of going to Sweden and all of the media obligations even that he had to take care of this week while he was there, all of the family obligations that he had to take care of this week while he was there, and he still found a way to go out there and put up 2 multi-point games and an overtime winner in a crucial game where the Leafs did not look good for a vast majority of that game. And he erased it all with one drop of the shoulder and cut to the net. And what a goal it was. That overtime winner was absurd.
So just for reference for listeners and viewers, that game finished, about 15 minutes ago? 20 minutes ago?
It's been about a half an hour now, maybe.
Yeah.
But
like we woke up and watched his game, and like as soon as he picked up the puck, I was like, oh, that's done. That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. As soon as he cut to the outside there and dropped his shoulder and saw
I'm talking like before. When he picks up the puck in the neutral zone, I was like, this is it.
Well, actually, where he gets that puck, he takes a pass from Morgan Riley up the side wall.
Yeah,
like in his own zone, and then he just cuts across. I think it was that Johansson that he was up against there.
I want to say it was. I know definitely he beat a forward cutting to the net. I don't know if it was Johansson or.
Well, it was the same guy. It wasn't Zuccarello, so it must have been Johansson. But he turned that guy inside out like three different times. And then just, I'm bigger, stronger, and faster than you. Drop the shoulder, cut to the net. And he scored on the Wild like that earlier this year, actually, cutting to the net. And he went all the way around. He waited out. I think it was Gustafsson in net. It wasn't Fleury. But Fleury knew that. Goes to poke check him. And what does he do? Chips it short side. Yeah. Perfect.
Disgusting goal.
Like, absolutely filthy. Just the quick hands, the power. Unbelievable to see. And you just knew it was going to be him. It had to be him to finish that game, right? Like, he's just on another level right now. And that's how I open the show, is talking about this guy's just otherworldly doings right now. It's so fun to watch. And do you know what I absolutely loved? Watching Nick Kypreos' negativity this morning on that panel. And all I could think about was his proposition of the Leafs a couple years back trading William Nylander to the Anaheim Ducks for Nick Ritchie and Brandon Montour. That was his trade proposition a few years ago.
Yeah, and like, look, we know Kipper's a fucking moron. Like, just not a smart guy.
Complete moron.
But like, even that's like just like next level fucking stupid.
Yes, and I loved his argument today. Austin Matthews only averaged 30 assists a season throughout his career. If he's going to make the most money in the NHL, he has to pass the puck more. Kipper wants to take the puck off the stick of the most deadly shooter on the planet. That's just if you need to know something about Kipper's hockey IQ. He actually suggested that Austin Matthews should adopt a pass-first mentality.
Yeah, he's just fucked. He's literally just a fucking moron.
That is one of the most moronic takes I think I've ever heard. This is a guy who has scored 60 goals in the National Hockey League. This is like Nick Kypreos. Let's talk about Nick Kypreos for a second. Austin Matthews, so far this season, I would bet money, has more goals than Nick Kypreos had in his entire National Hockey League career.
Give me a minute.
Nick Kypreos just has no idea what he's talking.
Are we going NHL totals?
Yeah.
442 games, 46 goals, 44 assists for 90 points, and 1,200 penalty minutes. So he might have
so
Matthews
he doesn't
deep
have
there.
it yet. But to be clear, Austin Matthews once scored in just over 70 games more goals than Nick Kypreos had in over 450. Is that correct?
442.
Just under 450. Sorry, cut you. I kind of cut you at the knees there, Kipper. Yeah, no, he has absolutely no right to be talking about Austin Matthews and his shoot first mentality, which he absolutely should have as the most deadly shooter in the league.
Yeah.
So
Like
I don't know.
Like that's fine. It's like I understand you at the beginning of the argument. You understand where he's coming from. He's only averaging 30 assists, but he's averaging 50 goals, probably, or in and around that ballpark. Like that's a fair trade. Like you don't sit there and tell Ovi to pass more. You don't sit there and tell fucking back in the day like Ilya Kovalchuk and Danny Heatley to pass more. You put the puck in the fucking net.
He's also one of the strongest defensive forwards in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So, Kipper just like if you're really going to question Austin Matthews' value at $13.5 million, where he left money on the table, like you absolutely have no idea what you're talking about. If that's what you're suggesting, I'm sorry. And Nick Kypreos might be the worst hire in Sportsnet history, and they've got some bad ones.
Well, he's been a moron forever. I remember back in the day when Shea Weber was playing with the Habs, he got injured. Nick Kypreos was the first one to tweet, got some insider stuff, like Shea Weber's career is over, and then Shea Weber literally dressed that night. He's literally just the stupidest man on fucking TV right now.
Yeah, he absolutely should not be on TV. He should not. No, it's
and I can't believe that he has a podcast that's one of the most successful hockey podcasts. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on and let's talk a little bit about your experience in the city of Montreal. You were there. You got to experience a couple games, a win against the Bruins and a loss against the rolling Vancouver Canucks. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those games?
So we'll start with the Canucks game because, there was a slightly less to talk about. What I will say is it is insane to watch Quinn Hughes play live.
Mm-hmm.
Like the absolute total control he has of the entire ice surface when he's on there is ridiculous. Like every time he touched the puck, there was you could feel like the air leave the bell center. It's like, oh, he's gonna do something. Like he's gonna walk somebody. He's gonna fucking fire a 60-foot fucking stretch pass. Like it was incredible to watch. I think we kept him quiet, only 1 or 2 points, right? But yeah, that was just so fucking cool to watch. Like he is, we've kind of shit on him a little bit in the past for not being what we expected from him. He's blown all of our expectations away to start the season. 17 games in, just a superstar. It was so fucking cool to watch.
He dances out there, man. He dances. I'm so happy for you that you got to see him live. Truly.
Like there were so many times where he's getting forechecked. You're like, okay, someone's gonna come. Pizzetta's gonna fucking finish his check, fucking steal the puck off him. Anderson, any of those guys, and he just fucking I don't know how he did it. He just walked through all of them perfectly, and then made the perfect breakout pass or took off with the puck himself. He was just, or he'd be on the blue line, and someone like Jake Evans or Nick Suzuki would be pressuring him, and you're like, hey, oh, we might get a break here, and then nope, little fucking spinorama, and now it's a 5-on-4 because fucking the forechecker's gone. It was just stupid to watch. It was so fucking sick.
Yeah, no, he's he's shown himself to be one of the most talented players in the league.
Yeah,
not just defensemen.
I was just about to say we're not even limiting him to that. Yeah,
no, he's on another level right now, and you know what? His brother just came back yesterday from injury too. Goal and an assist. He's not going to stop either. Jack Hughes, the Hughes brothers are so good. And we said this before.
The thing with Quinn though is it's not even that he's running away with the Norris here. He's putting himself in Hart contention if the Canucks have a decent year.
Yeah.
That's batshit insane.
Yeah.
And it's a real possibility that fucking 2 Hughes brothers are finalists for the fucking Hart. Yeah.
No, for sure. And that's not to take anything away from what Elias Pettersson's been doing, because Elias Pettersson has been fantastic for them as well. JT Miller has put up points. I don't particularly like JT Miller, but that's the conversation for another day. But you're right. He's definitely working his way into that MVP type talk. And I think a big reason for that is not only is he an absolute wizard with the puck, he's so good without it too.
Oh, yeah.
For a guy that is not a very large person, he knows
is like comically small.
Pardon?
He is comically small.
But he knows how to separate guys from the puck. Like, it's very hard to do what he does at his size.
Yeah, and he's like not even that he's good at it. He is phenomenal at it.
Exactly.
Like, it's incredible. He's genuinely like become one of my favorite players in the league to watch. Just he's so good.
Absolutely. So that was a loss for Montreal against Vancouver.
Yeah, so we lost 5-2. And it wasn't even any of the big guns scoring. Connor Garland put up a couple. Like, it was just not a second night of a back-to-back. Habs weren't feeling great. It'd be like that. A big emotional drain on Saturday night, beating the Boston Bruins in overtime, which was just one of the fucking coolest things I've ever experienced live. So started off with the Bruins scoring on their very first shot of the game, like 30 seconds in. And like, I turned to my sister and I looked at her and I'm like, we're fucked. This is like, we're fucked. And obviously you were paying attention to the game last night. The Habs lost 5-2. That was kind of what I was expecting at that point. I'm like, fuck, like they've scored on their first shot. Like it's going to be a fucking demolition. Habs actually fought back pretty well. Took till the third period to get it tied up. 2 goals in quick succession, 27 seconds apart from Suzuki and Gallagher. Brad Marchand would tie it up a little later in the third. And then, in overtime, Caden Gooley fucking lit the Bell Center on fire. It was, I might clip the fucking clip in here. Actually, no, I can't because we'll get busted for fucking copyright by the NHL. But still, it was fucking sick. It was so fucking sick. Worth every penny of that trip. And I said to my sister as we were leaving the Bell Center, because it was limbs. Like, the concourse was fucking going mad on the way out. The fucking blocks around the Bell Center were going mad. I'm like, that's a regular season win in November. I can't imagine how fucking insane this place is after like a playoff win. Like, It was just electric. So fucking good.
Yeah, sounds like it, man. I'm happy that you got to experience that. You also got a couple of souvenirs. Why don't you tell us about those?
Oh yeah, okay. We'll start it off with the warm-up puck from the Vancouver game. So the Bruins game, they sold them out. I don't know if other teams do this, but the Habs sell their warm-up pucks during the first intermission of their games. So always nice snagging one of those. And give me a second to go off camera here. Yeah. I'm coming. Player equipment sale at the Bell Center. So your boy snagged some fucking. Got some new mitts. My boy Arturi Lehkonen. So I got these bad boys. I'll be dropping these and beating the shit out of you with these in the ODR in a couple weeks, hopefully. Yeah. So we got a nice new pair of. Yeah, I know. It's going to be like a month and a half, 2 months, but still. Yeah, so we got my fucking Arturi Lehkonen gloves, which are just the best. In the background. Can you still hear me, Avery?
Yes, we can hear you.
Got myself some pants. They don't have a number or anything on them, but they're definitely used because they smell like absolute ass.
Yeah.
And then finally, I don't know how well this is going to show on camera, but we got ourselves an Arbor Jack Eye fucking.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Trying to get it. Arbor Jack Eye Pro Stock Stick.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to play with it or are you going to frame it?
Oh, I'm playing with it 110%.
Okay, that's the right answer.
Yeah. None of that stuff, unless it was like autographed, it would be going up. But like just match worn and like game used stuff, like fuck, I'm wearing it.
100%. Yeah, I would like to know who those pants belong to. I'm interested.
I know there's no indicator, like there's no number, no like name, nothing in there. I was like, fuck. So like the only thing I know is basically they're not Cole Caulfields and they're not like Shea Weber's because they're a medium. So it's like. Could be like anybody.
Yeah, that's fair. I would just like do some research and see what kind of pants guys wear and compare.
I mean, like I could. Like, they are Warrior pants, which I'm super fired up about because I'm a big Warrior guy. I think we've talked about this on the show before.
Yeah.
Big Warrior guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, all in all, a phenomenal trip. Actually, the one last thing on it, super like special both nights. So obviously the Saturday night was Remembrance Day, so it was Military Appreciation Night. The Habs brought out a Korean War vet to drop the puck, and then Ford also sponsored, I want to say they did 70 something tickets for current and former military people to be in attendance. So that was really cool. And then Sunday night was Hockey Fights Cancer Night. And I will tell you for free that when those kids, so they had the kids stand with the players for the anthem. So when those kids were getting introduced, there wasn't a dry eye in the fucking building. It was it's a really cool moment to be a part of. Wish the Habs would have maybe got the result to kind of top it off. But, even with the loss, like, it was just a special night.
Absolutely. Those always are the Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Would have been nice if they could have worn some jerseys, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely, because I absolutely would have ended up buying one too. Like,
yeah.
I've already got one. Like, but if you had said, oh, like I was at the game where they wore them, absolutely, I was getting one.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, you should. You should have. But because of Gary Bettman's stupid rules, you could not.
Yeah.
All right. And what else? Let's just keep it on the Habs here. What else happened this week?
Yeah, we're in a little bit of a skid, so lost 4 in a row starting with the Vancouver game. I think actually Marty St. Louis kind of put it best. Because we were on not a roll to start the season, but we were doing kind of well to start the season. And things have kind of gone off the rails. And he said, they were maybe putting Band-Aids on things that needed minor surgery, which happens when you're winning games. You try not to change too many things. It's starting to fall apart a little bit. The depth scoring has kind of dropped off. A guy like Josh Anderson still doesn't have a goal this year, which is tough. Before last night's game, he was actually 32nd in the league in terms of expected goals with 6.35, I think it was. Still hasn't got one. So he's getting himself those opportunities. This can be same can be said for a lot of guys. They're getting those opportunities. They're getting themselves in spots. It's just posts and crossbars and fucking bobbling pucks and just that kind of bullshit. The goaltending's kind of dropped off a little bit. Not that any of them are playing particularly bad. It's just they were playing at a way higher level to start the season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of above where they probably should have been to start. Yeah. So they've kind of come down to earth. The defense has kind of come down to earth a little bit too. So, but this is a young team. This is par for the course. Is something you're gonna have to go through a little slump. Hopefully we kind of turn it around here in a bit. But it's been basically what I've expected from the Habs, which is, you're going to have some good games, you're going to have some fucking shit games. As long as we kind of stay competitive in games, which we have been, it's not like the Ducharme era where we would get where it was like 5-0 at the end of the first. You know what I mean? Like, we're losing games, but we're not getting destroyed. So I have full faith that Marty can turn this around, and hopefully by next week we can maybe have a win or two to talk about.
Yeah, and just talked a lot about William Nylander at the beginning of this episode, but talking about the Leafs as a whole, it was huge to get that win on Saturday night, as I talked about before I guess I didn't talk about that win because you were away. But
we haven't talked about that.
That win on Saturday, they were going through a little bit of a dry spell, and it was becoming abundantly clear. The win against Vancouver on Saturday night was huge. Obviously, the win against Calgary the night before was big, but the Saturday night against Vancouver on the second half of a back-to-back against that hot team, that was really, really big for them to get done, because they didn't play again until Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. First game in Sweden against the Detroit Red Wings. They went down 3-1, I believe. I believe it was 3-1.
I think 3-1.
Then they came back and won it in regulation, 4-3. I don't believe they got the empty netter. No, they did not, because I was hoping William Nylander was going to get it so that my multi-goal scorer, William Nylander, that would cash, but it did not. He only had one, unfortunately. But regardless, getting those 2 wins in Sweden, not only because they were in Sweden, in terms of just where we sit and where we were going there, it's really nice regardless of how it happened. Like I mentioned today, we did not play our best game in the world. We probably didn't start as hot as we would have wanted to against Detroit. There was definitely places where they're going to need to improve. Injuries have a big part to do with that. John Klingberg's been out. Timothy
Don't say that that's fucking impacting your team in a negative way.
Well, to be honest with you, the game that he played against Vancouver was the best game that he's played as a Leaf. He looked great, John Klingberg.
That's not saying much, because he looked like absolute ass every other game.
But that's what I'm saying, is he looked really, really good. And that doesn't change the fact that somebody else has to play in that position, right? Like, we're playing right now, and nothing against William Legason. I think even after everybody's healthy, he deserves to stay with this team. William Legason has been fantastic. But we're playing with Simon Benoit. Mark Giordano's playing over 20 minutes a night at 40 years old. That's not sustainable. We've talked about that at length. So we need Liljegren back. We need Connor Timmins back, like, for sure. This fourth line that we have right now, dude, I can't imagine like what Ryan Reeves is feeling. I feel so bad for him sitting in that press box because he's looking at this going, I'm never playing again. I'm actually never, like, that fourth line with Bobby McMahon, David Kampf, and Noah Gregor, they're quick, they forecheck, they draw penalties, they produce sometimes when we need a goal. Like, Noah Gregor has been so good at that. He's so good at using his speed to get an opportunity and then actually putting the puck on net. And maybe it's not the greatest shot in the world, but it's on net, and anything can happen, right? And he scored a couple goals this year just doing that, just wheeling up the wing and putting the puck on net. And every game that they play together, those three, it's just Ryan Reeves is never going to play in the blue and white ever again. Like, there's no way. It would be absolutely asinine to break those guys up right now. They're just
barring injury or suspension.
Like, for sure, they've been so good. Like, they've been so good. And the third line as well. Like, obviously the third line the second line with Nylander, Tavares, and Bertuzzi's been great. Bertuzzi's looked fantastic, but that third line with Max Domi centering Nick Robertson and Calle Jarnkrok, they look fantastic. Max Domi looks like he's come into his own. He's got 9 assists on the season now. Nick Robertson has come up from the AHL and has not stopped producing the way that he was producing down in the A. And yeah, as I briefly mentioned, the second line's just on a heater, and I think it has a lot to do. Obviously, it has everything to do with William Nylander, but the reason that the line is producing at the rate that it is because Tyler Bertuzzi's finally kicked it into gear here. He looks comfortable, and that's what he needed to do. What is just become comfortable, and the difference is amazing. He's such a battler, that guy, and he's got skill too. Like that little dish that he made after winning the puck against Justin Holl, noted Leaf, winning the puck battle, taking that out to the front of the net, and then that backdoor dish to John Tavares was just like perfect.
I found it so weird when people were writing off Bertuzzi after the first 10 games. It's like he's in a new environment, new team, new city, new role. Let's be honest. Like, he's never been, that kind of that expectation's never really been on him, to that level. You knew he was a good hockey player. You knew he was going to turn it around and find, this game. So I was blown away when people were writing him off so early.
Well, it's because he looked disinterested a lot early in the season. I think that was just a product of him having to find his way within the team and kind of a little bit of frustration with how that was going. And that's why he looked disinterested at points, but he's found a role with that second line on the wing with Tavares and Nylander, man. They are so good together. And I can't see that line ever getting broken up. They all are, they complement each other perfectly. And I'll be honest, the top line with Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner, since the last time we spoke, they sucked. We'll be honest. For about a week and a half, they were not great. They did not play great against Detroit. They did not play great against Vancouver. They did not play great against Calgary. And that was really shitty to see because Austin Matthews was on a insane heater to start the year. He had 13 goals in 13 games. He's up to 14 now and 17, but you just expect more from those guys. And Mitch Marner, just, I already said it, but he's been increasingly frustrating every game. But Matthews had a goal today. Hopefully that gets him out of it. Matthew Nyes had a goal today, 5-on-5. So hopefully that kind of pulls them out of their funk. And yeah, I like where we are right now. We don't play again now until Friday. I forget who we play. I think we played Chicago on Friday afternoon, I think, is our next game.
The Habs play at 3:30 on Friday, so I don't know what the fuck's going on there either.
Thanksgiving.
That's exactly what it is.
American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
100%. 100% that's what it is. And now that we're on the topic of American Thanksgiving, dude, let's be honest. American Thanksgiving is about when you know what you are as a team, right? That's always been what people say is by American Thanksgiving, you kind of see what you are. Everybody's had time, like Tyler Bertuzzi has, to get used to their new environment. And you have to evaluate. You have to have different points in the season that you evaluate and really stop, take a step back and say, where are we? Right? And I think
this is kind of the first checkpoint for that.
Exactly. And I think Toronto should be, after this little heater that they're on right now, and with the seasons that some of their guys are having, I think they should be feeling like they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I can't overly argue with you on that. Just near historic paces from two of your top three guys is obviously great stuff. I would say the Habs are probably in the spot where we expected them to be at this point. Like I don't think they're any better or worse than we expected them to be to start. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty accurate measuring stick, the American Thanksgiving so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And
actually, can we stay on there for a second? Any surprises at American Thanksgiving so far?
I think there's a few. I'd have to take a look at the standings just to refresh my memory here. Just give me 1 second.
All right, so I'll start with this because I've got them up here. The Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
How do you lose so many good players over so many years and continue to be a fucking juggernaut like this?
That's what they've always been, my friend.
I know. But it's like you lose fucking Bergeron and Krejci. Okay, well, Pavel Zacha is just going to step up and be your 1C and be fucking dominant. Like, it's incredible. It's so fucking incredible, and I hate it so much because I hate them so much. But yeah, as much as I thought they were going to be, still good this year, I would never have predicted the fucking heater that they've had to start. Like, one regulation loss in 16 games.
Yeah, you aren't wrong about that. That's absurd. Another one that's a little bit surprising, I'm just seeing here. I'm a little bit shocked that the Florida Panthers are where they are.
That as well. Like,
I know they went to the Stanley Cup final last year, but I'm just not a huge believer in them.
Yeah, I think I talked about them having like an okay season, getting themselves into the playoffs and like probably the 4 spot. Like, yeah, I guess again, like they're just kind of rolling, and I don't know if that's maybe got something to do with the Leafs maybe not having the greatest start, the Tampa Bay Lightning not having the greatest start, but like, yeah, they are rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Other surprises? I'm surprised that I have my Buffalo Sabres at the bottom here. That's been a little bit. It's been a rough go for them.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the one thing that I kind of alluded to when we did our season preview was I don't think they've gotten the goaltending yet from Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, from Devin Levi, and I forget who their third one is. Like, they just haven't got that consistency from them yet. And I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure Tage Thompson is hurt, which is never a good thing for them.
Well, I believe he very recently got hurt, yes.
Yeah, like, yeah, it was, looks like a couple days ago. Yeah, the 14th. And he's expected to miss significant time, according to Elliot Friedman, quoting Don Granato, the Sabres coach. So
that's a tough position to be in if you're the Buffalo Sabres. In terms of surprises, not much else. Like, I didn't see Pittsburgh being that great, and they sit in second last in their division. The Philadelphia Flyers sitting at 9-7-1 right now. That's
a bit of a shock.
That's surprising. But other than that, in the Eastern Conference, I don't see much that's surprising here. The Devils kind of tailing off right now. That's a little bit of a shock. Holy shit! The Rangers are 12-2-1.
Yeah.
Wow. Did not expect to see that when I opened this up. Okay, let's move on to the Western Conference. Big surprise for me. Obviously, Vancouver being as good as they've been.
Yeah. I mean, they've been so mediocre for so long with like the same core. Like, it's not even that they like brought in someone to like revitalize them. It's the same core, just turning it up a couple levels here.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know if it's a surprise, but the Oilers suck, and they fired their coach, and it's not looking good in oil country. We were talking about
it might be a shock to some, but it's not a shock to me, because I've said basically since the inception of this show that the Oilers are dog shit, and they just scrape by because of McDavid and Draisaitl.
Well, and what's happened is Connor McDavid looks mediocre at best right now. Like, he is nowhere near the player that he's been since he came into the league, to be honest with you. From the point that he came into the league in 2015 until now, he has been head and shoulders above every single player in the National Hockey League at all times. Yeah. And there's a weakness in that armor right now. Whether he's playing hurt or he's just frustrated about what's going on in Edmonton and he's sick of coaching changes. I don't know what's going on with him, man, but he looks like Frank Gallagher from Shameless out there. Like, that's what he looks like right now. He looks like he's like got to go to rehab or something, man. It's absolutely crazy. He looks like he's more stressed than anybody has ever been in their lives. And I don't blame him. No. I truly don't blame him. Unless, and like a lot of accusations say, he is Mick GM. And he is secretly pulling the strings over there. In which case, I don't feel bad for him.
I mean, I think to some extent that's probably true. I think when you have a generational player like Connor McDavid, you have him locked down for however many more years his contract in Edmonton is, like, yeah, if you're management, you're probably going to run some things by him. Did he have final say in Jay Woodcroft getting fired? Probably not. But
according to him, he didn't want that to happen. Yeah.
And I mean, look, as much as I don't like Jay Woodcroft and think he had one of the most punchable faces in the history of the NHL, I don't think the Oilers sucking is not his fault. There's only so much you can do when the goaltenders that you've been given are Stuart Skinner, Jack Campbell, and I don't even know who their fucking third stringer is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, unless you build, a Cale Makar, Adam Fox, Victor Hedman, and fucking Quinn Hughes top 4D core in front of that, you're going to struggle to keep the puck out of the net. And there's no coaching. You can't coach that. This is a management thing. The fact that Ken Holland still has a job fucking blows my mind. That's the biggest thing here. Is how, and I know we've said it a billion times in the show, you have the two best players in the world, or two of the best players in the world. All you have to do is get a fucking goalie and a couple defensemen. And then there you go. Now you have the base of a team, and they've not done it for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with you, man. And it's tough to watch. I do enjoy watching it, though.
It's a car crash.
It's a car crash, exactly. It's tough, but I love it. All right, now that we've glossed over all of those things, and just like they gloss over all of their short-term issues, let's talk about something that happened in Boston, not last night, but the night before. So
yeah, I feel we do have to mention this. We don't know all the details, but I'll let you kind of take it here.
So Milan Lucic has taken a leave of absence from the Boston Bruins due to a personal incident involving a domestic case. That's all we know. That's all we know. Don't know anything else. There's other things that have been said and reported, but we don't know these things to be fact. So we'll leave it at that.
We felt we had to at least like mention the fact that happened. We don't want to just like ignore the fact that happened, but like Abe said, we don't have any more kind of confirmed facts about it, so we're not gonna sit here and speculate.
Break down. Yeah, no, absolutely not. But
like, we'll speculate hockey stuff. We're not going to speculate stuff like that. That's
no, absolutely not. Not our place. Not our place at all. So, with that, I believe that's all that I have for this episode. Is there anything else that you would like to get off of your chest, Gitano?
So can you pull up the Leafs schedule just for what they have this week, or is it literally just that one game on the Friday?
Believe it's just the one game on the Friday. Maybe we play back to back on Saturday. Give me 1 second.
Right, so while you're doing that, sorry, go ahead.
We do. So it's Friday, November 24th, 2 p.m. Thankfully, I have that day off, so I'll be able to watch that game. Followed by Saturday, November 25th, the following night at 7 p.m. So it's a back-to-back, but we do get an extra 5 hours there, so it's like 29 hours as opposed to like a back-to-back 7 o'clock games or whatever. So that's nice, and that's all that we have before we will talk next.
So the Habs are heading out west. So we've got the Ducks in Anaheim on Wednesday, 10 p.m. start time. Just fucking makes me want to cry. But thankfully against the Sharks on Friday is 3:30, so I'll be watching that one from work. And then Saturday we have the afternoon game, a 4 p.m. puck drop against the Kings. All
right. That is all that we have for this episode. Thank you for listening. This has been episode 109, powered by powered by 91N. My apologies. We will talk to you next week. Thank you all for listening, and have a great rest of your Sunday.